Hello Aries friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Aries February 2021 Astrology Must Knows. Welcome if you're watching this video version of this, and welcome if you're watching the new syndicated audio-only podcast version in my new podcast called Astro Kisses with Annie Botticelli. Okay, so we've got a ton to celebrate this month. I am so excited for Aries. This has been a trend if you've been listening to me, you know that a lot of the heavy things for Aries have been starting to wear off, and a lot of sweet things are starting to open up in a very big way, in a short and long-term way. This is another one of my favorite months of the year, actually, for Aries placements, because there's such a proliferation of Aquarius placements, and any planet in Aquarius is a good thing for Aries. It makes a 60-degree angle. That's the ingredients on the counter angle that I always talk about, which means yay. It's one of the very positive mathematical connections, and it often means you're offered something and you have to do something with it, but it still gives you ingredients to make a wonderful dish. And then you've got to add the action. But of course, Aries is not any stranger to action. And if anything, I'm there with you because I have Aries rising. We love action. So this is going to be a very busy, very effervescent month. And while we do have one major dogger of like an outer aspect that is one of those global affecting ones that we've been having as this undercurrent with this massive change in the world, and we will feel that, all of the other placements are really, really powerfully positive for Aries. So it increases the odds that you'll be able to make lemonade out of any lemons that come from that. And I actually did a separate video on that. So if you just search for Annie Botticelli Saturn square Uranus, and for part of the time that this video or podcast is current, or video is current, it will follow this video, or you can just search for Annie Botticelli Saturn square Uranus. And I highly recommend you do, because there are some forces at work here. You'll definitely want to know what they're associated with, what happened in times in the past when we had these energies, what that might look like now, and how I'm reframing this in as positive as possible a light to help make through, not minimizing the challenges, but just to help you make the most of it. So see that video for that. And that is going on at the same time, but that is not what we're going to focus on now. We're going to focus on the air party that's giving major astro kisses to Aries placement. So let's break this down. First major must know is that we are in a retrograde. Now, in general, Aries does not like retrogrades because it's not always easy to push forward your agendas or get the things done or have the momentum that you'd like to have. We had a frenzy of momentum towards the end of November, all of December, and the first half of January. So I'm hoping that you were sufficiently tired during that time to be like, okay, I'm okay with a break now. And so welcoming the retrograde, because when you welcome the retrograde, you can have much more fun. So it is a must know that it's not a time to launch big things. It's not a time to try to put something big and long term, experimental things, short term things with low stakes, little things here and there. It's like, that's all fine, and business as usual is fine. But it's just like the big things, the things that need more oomph and momentum. You want to save those for March, April, and the first half of May, when they will have beautiful energy. 2021 is very different than 2020 in the way that we're not shrouded in personal planet retrogrades. So even though we're here in this time now in February, it's not like that for the whole year. And anything that you didn't push through in January for one reason or another, you'll have plenty of wonderful Aries supporting energy to get those things done, so you don't have to worry. This can be a month of rest, although it does look like it will be kind of busy. It can be busy with the things that come to you. Aries in general, we're very proactive, but this is a month, retrograde times basically, which is why I'm calling it this for this month, is a time to be the spider. You wove your web at the end of November and December, all of December and the first half of January. And now you sit back and you let the food come to you, and then you can glom the food when it comes to you, and you can say yes, and you can do what you want to do as things come to you. But it's not a time to be going out and getting something, going out and making something happen. It's a time to sit back, wait to see what comes to you, and then apply really good discernment as to what you say yes to and what you do, because you might not be seeing all of the information that's necessary. That's a major must know for this time. Someone may be purposely withholding information, or you just might not be in a space to see it, or it might just, be hidden, and if you're hurrying through it, you'll miss it. So it's not the best for contracts unless they're short-term and flexible. You'll have better time for that in March, April, into May. Let's see what else about that. Yeah, so it's just definitely a time to be the spider, and it's a time to be the earthworm. The earthworm, you know, goes back and back and over the soil and eats the same soil and pushes it out the back and eats it in the front. And it makes this fertile soil for future planting and growth. That's what you're wanting to do now. You're wanting to do this inner work, do this work close to you, go back over things, get them all, you know, perfect, so that you can either end them, be done with them, close them out, or bring them out to launch, and then open up for fresh, new, clean, astrological New Year energy, Aries time energy, all which will start towards the end of March. So this is the time to like wrap up unfinished business and take care of all those things for the beautiful new births. Okay, so that's what else was on my list. Right, okay, so back to these Aquarius placements. So we're going to have Venus, the Sun, Mercury in retrograde, all moving through Aquarius, making kisses to your placement. Venus kisses look like yay, money, love, romance, self-esteem boosts, recognition, feeling like you can do something, confidence. The Sun kisses look like warmth, light, support. The Mercury kisses look like information that's relevant, either coming in or going out. It can look like news of something that you've been waiting on coming in. And those of you who are in the, let's see, so March. So like April's 1st or 2nd, the first couple of days of April through almost towards the end of the sign, except the last couple of days. So basically most April born, or 12 to 27 degrees if you're watching for your rising or moon or Venus or Mars. This video is for you regardless of which Aries placement you have. As I mentioned, I have Aries rising. Some people like to watch for their Venus sign. You might have your Sun in Aries. But this video is part of your total astrological outlook regardless of which placement. And also if you are late degree Aries, especially like March 15th through the rest of the sign, I also recommend that you watch for me and even possibly other astrologers, the Taurus report. Because depending on what degree the charts are run at, your chart might look more like a Taurus chart. And I suggest you experiment with that, you cuspy people. So if you're like 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, or March 15th through the rest of the sign, or I'm sorry, April 15th through the rest of the sign, then you'll want to also watch the Taurus videos to get extra goodies. You cuspy people are more complex with your readings. Okay, so let's see what else is going on. Okay, so Venus, we talked about that. Jupiter and Saturn are also moving through Aquarius, which is a long-term kiss. This is part of why Aries is coming out of the shadows of the squares of Saturn and Jupiter that had been going on for the previous years. That had been a very tough time, those Saturn squares, and then in 2020 joining with the Jupiter squares for your placement is just really a beast. Plus the Cancer Capricorn eclipses that ended in the middle of 2020, like all of that cycle was very difficult for Aries. Very, very, very difficult for years. And now we're moving into a time where the outer planets and the eclipse cycles are in beautiful aspects for you. So hopefully you're coming out of the dark in a big way. You're healing your nervous system. You're, trending towards kind of releasing the past and creating a shiny new present. And there are lots of aspects supporting that. Definitely search for my video, Jupiter in Aquarius for Aries, because I will tell you when you're going to get your Jupiter kisses and what day, depending on your degree or your birthday, what days of the whole Jupiter cycle that you're going to get your kisses from Jupiter, and what kind of kisses you're likely to get. Okay, so you want to search for that. You can search for Annie Botticelli, Jupiter in Aquarius for Aries. Okay, but you're also getting Saturn kisses, and this is really favoring, like the Saturn kisses right now are favoring pretty much the March born. The Jupiter kisses are about to favor those of you in the first week of April. And that's happening at the same time as all of these other shorter term kisses. So that's very, very exciting. Also, along the lines of happenings in Aquarius, we've got the new moon in Aquarius on February 11th at 23 degrees. So this is good news for everybody. It's Chinese New Year. It's an auspicious time. But again, since this new moon is in a sign that's at a beautiful aspect for you, every Aries can benefit from this. So mark in your calendar the days around the 11th to look for notable occurrences. If your birthday is anywhere from, okay, well, we'll say the degrees. The closer to 23 degrees, the more exact hit and the more sweetness. But really from 18 degrees through 28 degrees, the closer to 23 degrees, the more intense. And then also that would really be for birthdays the closest to April 13th. And it might go back to like April 8th and then up to like April 18th. But the closer to April 13th, the more kisses you'll get from that new moon. Now, those of you, okay, so something else that's happening at this time, why it's so noteworthy, which is why I want to point it out, is that Venus and Jupiter are making a conjunction in Aquarius, okay? So anytime they make a conjunction, it's yay, anyway, for everybody. But because they're making it again at an angle that's great for you, everyone in the zodiac, this is exciting for. Every Aries, this is extra exciting for. And those of you who are closer to 10 to 12 degrees, so that's basically the first couple of days of April, and we'll stretch it out for the last few days of March and stretch it into like the first week of April, but really concentrated the most in the first couple of days of April. You'll get extra kisses from this Venus Jupiter alignment that can bring harmony and luck and benevolence and boosts of money and romantic luck and things like that. So as you can see, lots to celebrate. Okay, so now let's see. Plans are going to change. That's a must know. The less you plan, the better. Not only do you want to not plan because the plans are probably going to change or be called into question or, you know, be modified or not happen at all. You want to leave space for surprise magic. Unexpected magic tends to happen in the retrograde time. And if you don't leave any room for it, you might miss it or you might not be available for it when it shows up. Okay, so schedule yourself light, but it's probably going to be busy and rich, but the less you actually schedule, the more you can see what comes into your web. Okay, and know that things that were seeming certain, maybe for future plans or for things that were already intact, a lot of things are going to get called into uncertainty in this month because of that big aspect with Saturn and Uranus, and because of the retrograde. So if things start to get a little shaky, just remember what I said, that there's a good chance that some of the things that got called into question for the future are actually going to wind up being fine. You just got to get through this shaky point. But I think it will be less shaky for Aries placements because, again, even the Mercury retrograde is in a nice angle for you. So it increases the odds that that will be a more pleasant and productive experience with beautiful blasts from the past. One thing to watch out for, and this is really just besides the big aspect that's going to overshadow the whole month, which is the Saturn-Uranus one. This full moon at 8 degrees of Virgo, which is going to be February 27th, or the days around there, depending on your time zone, that's going to be at a difficult angle for Aries placements. So look for the last couple of days of the month, first couple of days of March, to bring more emotion, more high drama. Could be a point of conflict, could be something that goes on with a pet, or your health, or something just kind of comes up to be dealt with. And it doesn't mean that it has to be bad. There are going to be Aries placements that have a very sweet time at this time. But because you might have other placements that make a nice angle for this. Like I know I have Earth placements that are going to make a nice angle for this. So I have an Aries placement. So I'm in that division where, okay, it might be tough for the Aries part of my chart, but it's going to be nice for the Cat part of my chart, right? So we're complex. And this isn't, you know, these are just individual pieces that we're discussing here. But from the perspective of, for the Aries placements, especially those closest to 8 degrees. So that's going to be like April 26th, 28th, you know, the last part of April. That's going to be the hardest hit with this. And you might feel that the most, okay, in the days around there. So hopefully you'll have some other things to offset that, but I did want you to be aware of that. All right, so in general, a lot to be excited about this month. It's not going to be long before it's Aries time, but we do have a time where Pisces will dominate after this month. Pisces energies will come in. Those are not as great for Aries, so you're going to have like a little bit of a patch to deal with there. But then right after that, the planets will start to go into Aries. It's going to be, you know, really forward moving and productive and awesome again and lit up. So we've got yay for February. Then as the Pisces placements start towards the end of the month and get into March, and it's like, then it's going to be yay again towards the end of March. So just kind of know that. But in general, even March is one of my favorite months of the whole year for the whole zodiac, because there are so many sweet aspects, more sweet aspects than salty ones. And that has become uncommon these days. We've been having more salty aspects a lot of months than sweet ones. But March and April have a lot of good aspects. So again, hoping that that means that any lemons that come for Aries from those Pisces placements, that water emotional kind of heaviness where your family will come up in a big way, that you can make lemonade out of that. But amazing months for February. I hope it works out in a big way for you. So if you would like to have even more information about what this month could look like for you and how you can best use the energies, then definitely tap into all of the free resources I have for you. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com. Definitely sign up for my free email newsletter. Now more than ever, there are perks that come along with that, because besides getting my monthly write-up that shows the sweet and salty dates and what you can expect, what the aspects are, what you can expect from them, and what the month looks like, all in a written version delivered into your inbox 1 month early, plus my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free, I'm working on having software that will allow you to run birth charts for free. Now, I can't make any guarantees that this will be in place by the time you are listening to this, because it is something I'm working on, but it is things like this that are perks that come along with being on my free email newsletter list. So you'll definitely want to do that at anniehelpsyou.com. If you want simple written horoscopes by me that will give you good details but aren't as technical as some of my other resources, then you can go to my beautiful website, cozybysweetstarlight.com. All of the links that I'm giving you are also in the notes underneath the video. Or if you're listening to the podcast version of this, they're in the notes underneath the podcast. Also, if you would like to have to listen rather than view, if you're driving or if you're not wanting to deal with the mid-roll ads that YouTube is pushing against even the creator's will, then you can check out my new podcast, Astro Kisses with Annie Botticelli. The link for that is in the notes underneath the video as well. You can see my free courses at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. That's my school, Luminous Life Multiversity. So besides having free courses, I also have some paid courses. And if you think I go into lots of details with all of the free things I give you, you should see what the paid offerings look like, especially my course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which will equip you to do whatever you'd like to do with astrology, whether it's just help your friends and family and not do it professionally, help your own self-development, or become a practicing astrologer. And I also give information on how to make your astrology practice work financially, because I have been a business coach for a long time too, so that gets worked into the course. Okay, so definitely get my book Planetology if you're a fan of my work and you'd like to go deeper and you'd like to align with the natural rhythms of the universe. That's what this book is about. You can find Planetology anywhere and everywhere. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.